2015 has been a cracking year of footy. And when you look at the numbers, it's easy to see why. From 18 clubs, 665 players have taken to the field. So far, we've seen 205 matches of footy played across 2 countries and 17 different venues. Over the home and away season, Swans midfielder Dan Hanbury saw the most action with 666 disposals.
He's a beauty, isn't he?
While Josh Gibson kept the Hawks flying high with 173 marks.
Great mark, Gibson.
Josh Kennedy became a first-time Coleman medalist with 75 goals across 22 games.
Kennedy gets the goal and brings the house down.
As for the umps, well, we couldn't do it without them. 101 have called the shots this year, but even they had their drama.
Ball's gone down, and he gets his hat back.
It's been a season of history-making moments. Buddy booted his 700th career goal. And 2 of the sport's ultra-veterans, Dustin Fletcher and Boomer Harvey, joined the 400 club. For Fletch, it was the end of an incredible career and a staggering 23 years in the game. For one of the oldest clubs in the comp, it's been a year to forget for Carlton. Mick Malthouse broke the all-time coaching record with 718 games at the helm. But the euphoria was short-lived. Time was also called for veteran captain Chris Judd, who was forced to hang up the boots after a stellar career.
Judd, how does he manage this?
Which spanned 279 games, 2 Brownlow medals and 1 premiership. It's been a shocker for the boys from the Sunshine State. The Brisbane Lions were the most battered and bruised side of the competition, with 35 players on the injury list unavailable for a combined 296 games. And things weren't much better on the coast. Prodigal son Gary Ablett was a regular on the injury list, sitting on the sidelines for 16 matches. But when he did play, he made it count.
He's the best in the business. Welcome back, Gas.
At the other end of the ladder, it's been wonderful in the West. The table-topping Dockers equalled their club record of 9 straight wins. And superstar Nat Fyfe became Freo's first ever Brownlow medalist. Collingwood is still the most supported club with 76,497 members. But it's Richmond who got the most fans through the gates, averaging 47,925 spectators per game.
Tigers roaring.
This year we've followed the stories of 18 clubs, each with a dream of winning the premiership. The dream is still alive for 2, but only one will taste glory in 2015.
Oh, what a great season 2015 has been, and could you get a better day in Melbourne? Look at that, the Chopper Shop just zooming down on Federation Square, where we are live and building up to the 2015 Toyota AFL Grand Final. The Saturday night team are here, and we are genuinely excited about what is going to be a brilliant day. To my right is a triple premiership hero, the man who is the unofficial mayor of Geelong, Cameron Ling. Welcome to you, Ling.
Oh, thank you, Das. Great to be here. I love this entire week. It's fantastic. Melbourne's turned on the weather. What a game this will be. West Coast and Hawthorn, the 2 best scoring teams in the comp. We are in for a cracking game today. Can't wait for it.
Award-winning journalist alongside you, our very own Samantha Lane. Welcome to you, Sam.
Great to see you all, boys. And isn't it like a communal birthday party, grand final day? And no one's having a bad day yet, so it's even better.
Every day's a birthday for the man alongside me. His name's Mick
Is it
Malloy.
what?
He describes himself as Australia's funniest and best-loved comedian, and why wouldn't you?
Modestly. Hey, happy grand final day. This is
Yes.
my favourite day of the year, bar none, and to see the sun out, the MCG will be like an outdoor cathedral today. It'll be a spiritual experience. This is as good as it gets in this town.
And what a treat to have the second best player ever to come out of Devonport with us. The number 2 player from Devonport, as reported today.
This is a joke, by the way. You can sue them for this. This is the Devonport Advocate.
What are you talking about?
That stinky rag
Yeah.
has suggested that Birchall, Grant Birchall from the Hawks, has now overtaken you as the greatest player to come out of Devonport.
Well, he is going for his 4th premiership.
I'll be honest, how does that sit with you, Richard?
No, he's a great player, Birch, going for his 4th premiership.
How many goals has he kicked on the MCG?
Well, he hasn't got the most, that's for sure.
Mate, you're as flat as I've ever seen your grand final day. It's taking the wind out of your
Oh,
sails.
look, it wasn't what I expected when I woke up this morning. The Advocate newspaper in my hometown just giving me a little
Don't
kick
worry.
in the...
You're always number 1 to us,
Birch,
Matthew.
Birch is a fantastic player.
He is,
and we
but-
stick together Tasmanians.
Okay.
You described him as a good ordinary player in our...
That's the line to us.
You know what he said to me? He said...
Don't you dare say
He said
that.
he's a great player for a halfback flanker.
Hey, the Brownlow medal on Monday night kicked off this week in fine style. Nat 5, you could not have had a better winner. And here with the votes coming in, Mick.
I think that's Pritis bringing in the votes. Something was sus there from there. It is.
Look at the cannons.
No, that's Luke Beveridge.
It's a bit of both, isn't it?
I tell you what, that case must weigh a ton because they've had to hire basically a male model to bring them in. Isn't that unbelievable? Here he comes.
They're all Nat 5.
And there it is. I love the pomp and ceremony about all that. Isn't it great to see the votes arriving like that? Great. And by the way, on the night, can I congratulate you guys because you had to back straight up after Brownlow into talking footy, which once again was good. A tough gig for you because I felt you were doing it as an OB. And have a look in the background. Look at that guy. That's your studio audience. And he looks pretty tough, I reckon.
He's just riveted with what you're saying, Dave.
Is that a Batman villain? I mean, who is that?
I have no idea who that man is. Fair to say, he didn't give us a lot either. He sat there the whole night. That was our one and only...
I hope it wasn't Kerry Stokes because I think you'd all been a lot of trouble.
Maybe he's not a talking footy fan. But, hey, last week we had Taylor Giray on the program last Saturday night. He had a terrific game the night before. But one thing you got to learn, Taylor, is that the camera is always rolling. Have a look at this. This is before we went on air. Taylor's just fixing up the do there.
He actually cuts the Hawthorn players' hair. It's a true story. He's their hairdresser.
Well, speaking of hair, we've had this bloke on before. We've found him again at Hawthorn training. Mullet man. Hawthorn
He's
supporter.
a ripper mullet man.
Look, there he is, just pops in. That is the greatest mullet since Gary Ayres' effort in the 80s.
The Hawthorn boys in the 80s had the best mullets too, didn't they?
Is that bad parenting? I mean, does that...
No.
He's a big fan of our show,
That
Mullet
is
Man.
trend-setting, and glasses, double points.
I
Love
don't know
it.
if you guys noticed. So last weekend, of course, we were over in Perth for both the preliminary finals. We had Basil Zemplis on.
Yep.
He caught up with a few of the West Coast Eagles players' partners and finished the interview. And it's this awkward moment here. Handshake, do I kiss? No.
Come on, Baz.
Come on, Baz.
Who does he think he is? Leonardo DiCaprio? I mean, what are you up to over there?
You don't go for the kiss in that situation.
You know what? There's a time and a place for players kissing, and I don't think it's necessarily public. Here's Dan Hanbury at the Brownlow. We know and love that. Isaac Heaney, we've come to know him and love him. I hope they stay together.
That's our favourite.
They stand the test of time, as opposed to these two.
You don't need that one, Nick.
I'm surprised that never worked out for you. Do you ever wonder what happened to that?
I do. If she ever wants to give me a call, I'm more than welcome.
We need to track her down. That is something that we are determined to do.
There's a certain chemistry there.
Speaking of entertaining, our own BT, the Bristol man, has entertained us right across the year on Saturday night footy. And today, he's been granted access all areas at the MCG.
Jeez.
Let's check in with the Bristol man.
It's West Coast and Hawthorn. The fans will be flooding and streaming through these turnstiles. Now, before we take you to the big game, let's get a VIP, access all areas, tour of the MCG. Come along with us. I'm sitting here in the director's chair. It's the nerve centre of the Channel 7 operations today. 40 cameras to choose from, 200 staff to help out, of course. It's going to your homes. 5 or 6 million people watching this broadcast today, live and exclusive in HD. Well, when you're talking players, this is the nerve centre right here. Alistair Clarkson in this room shortly will be standing here, delivering the message to the players. Of course, they've got the video, the whiteboard, and this is the message. It's simple. Just play your role, says Clarko. There are many different ways to experience the footy. We're in the Olympic room here on the wing at the MCG. Yes, it's fine dining, and boy, isn't that a great way to watch the footy on grand final day. But I reckon once you get out there and the ball's thrown up in the air, no one cares. Every seat's a great seat. Really, you could be in the top of the Ponsford stand here, seat number 25, section Q35. But I'm telling you, as I look around this great arena, 100,000 seats. Come grand final day, every seat is a good one. There's a couple of spots you don't want to be on grand final day. One of them is sitting right here. Imagine sitting here wearing the red vest. That wouldn't be cool on this great day. I tell you the other one, you don't want to disappear down this race here, because if you go down there, you're going to the doctor's room. That's trouble on such a big day. You've seen it from the workers' perspective, the players' perspective, and of course the fans in the stand. But I can tell you right now, there's no better place to be than in the middle of the MCG today. 2:30, the war begins.
Brilliantly done, Bristol. He doesn't need a pass to go access all areas. He does what he likes. That's the way he rolls. Look at the day here in Melbourne. Couldn't be any better. Conditions are perfect. And for the latest weather, let's get to Jane Bunn.
Well, here we are at the MCG. An absolutely cracking day of weather is ahead. Looking at the current temperature, let's take a look at that now. We have already reached 26 degrees. Our bye bounce time, so we're singing the national anthem, then we've got the bounce. It should be right up on 30. And 30 degrees is our likely maximum top for today. Now, we could go a little bit higher than that. We could hit 31. The hottest on record was 30.7 back in 1987, and the Hawks lost, so that may be an omen for today.
Thanks, Jaden. Beautiful conditions. Fans gathering here at Federation Square. Come down and join us. It's
it's
big
very festive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone's up and about. It's great to see.
Yep, couldn't ask for a better day at all. Hey, all roads lead to the September Club. It's where all the big names and the big stars gather. Jaden Robram from Ch.7 is going to be stationed there. Let's check in now with Jade and see who she's got with her.
Thanks, guys. What a cracking day it is here in Melbourne. Welcome to the September Club. I'll be here all day bringing you a VIP experience and talking to some of the biggest names in sport and entertainment. And two of those superstars right now are Mitch Larkham and Mac Horton. Hello, guys. Welcome to the AFL Grand Final.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us. You know, it's an exciting day. The crowd's building behind us, and I'm sure it's going to be a good game today.
It will be an absolute cracker. Who are you going for?
I'm going to go for West Coast. My parents were born in Perth and Juddy went to my school, so, you know, got to back West Coast.
Now, guys, we've got some exciting news. 7 have signed with the swimming for the next 9 years. That's great for the sport, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think, you know, we can develop profiles with Channel 7 and you can get really behind the athletes and see their progression over the next couple of years. And for you guys to pick up the Olympics again, it's amazing.
Yes, Rio next year. You guys are on track. Exciting times.
It is exciting. No one's actually on the team yet. We have our trials in April next year, and after that we'll find out who's on the team. But Channel 7 will be covering the trials, and then we'll be seeing you again at the Olympics.
You had a fabulous World Champs. Bet you're looking forward to Rio.
Yeah, absolutely. As Max said, you know, no one's on the team yet, and we have to be careful. But, you know, touch wood, everything goes good, and then obviously Rio will be a fantastic meet for both of us.
We'll have a fantastic day today, guys. And don't forget, 7 have got the Rio Olympics live and free next year.
What a lineup we have for you as we count down to the first bounce. Joining us live on the panel, Brian Adams ahead of his grand final performance. Nathan Buckley on his pies and what this day means to him. Matthew Pavlich will talk the future. Saturday night favourite and all-Australian Alex Rance. The inspirational Neil Danaher. And next, Swans funny man Tom Derricks drops in for a chat.
L. Ron Hubbard, if you've heard of him. Yeah. He's a science fiction writer and founder of the Church of Scientology. And he said, and I quote, Arnie's performance in The Terminator was almost Shakespearean and would be a worthy contender for an Academy Award. I'm just wondering, how much do you squat?
How much do I squat?
The onion?
Yeah, that's
Where'd that come from?
The onion came from Macca because he's so concerned about the fact he's got no hair. He thinks he's got a face that makes people want to cry.
I thought it was because you smelt like onion. So, Chris, I saw your new movie last night. I thought it was actually pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're obviously more commonly known as The Rock.
I'm The Rock? Okay.
What's your biggest regret in life, apart from your tattoos? Who's your most hated AFL team?
Hated AFL team?
Was that Collingwood? Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
George Hewitt first rocked up to the club. Do you remember the advice you gave him?
Eat your greens and do some extra weights in the gym to get stronger.
I think it was, and I quote, stick with me, mate, and you'll come 6th in the Brownlow. Some mornings I go out of my way to pick you up. I mean, as soon as you get in the car, you put your massive size 14 hooves on my dash.
Yes.
Leaving big rubber marks. Can you stop that?
Wrap this up, mate, I reckon. How much longer?
Oh, fantastic stuff. It might have quite gone his way on the field this year. Had to stop him from becoming our absolute favourite. He's a male model. He's a very funny man. He's the Sydney Swans' own Tommy Derricks. Great to catch up there, Tommy.
Yeah, great to be here, mate.
Thanks for joining us live.
Tom, no one sits in an interview like you sat there with Buddy Franklin. What were you thinking?
Relaxing.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't realise the camera angle was like that. They could see pretty much right up my shorts, but yeah.
Pretty outrageous.
You never see Ray Martin conducting interviews like that.
And my legs are skinny as well. I wish I could do that.
Hey, Tommy, you did some big interviews this year, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Chris Rock, but just got the feeling Arnie wasn't quite feeling it with you there.
Mate,
People have a word to you?
Arnie that was one of the scariest moments of my life. I wasn't nervous going in, but his head was literally right there. And I think he wanted to bite my head off.
Do you have an interviewing role model like Luke Darcy, Andrew Denton, anyone that you look to?
Luke Darcy's right up there.
Yeah, pretty good.
Have you ever seen Between Two Ferns?
No.
Zach Galifianakis?
It's one of the greats.
Yeah, he's really funny.
It's an excellent show.
Yeah.
Have you had a favourite out of them all? One who's actually warmed to you a bit, giving you a little bit of love in return?
The first one, Megan Fox, Will Arnett, was good fun.
Does she follow you on Twitter? Does Megan Fox follow you on Twitter?
This is a fresh story. We need to get to the bottom
I told you that in confidentiality.
Yeah, of course you did.
So Megan Fox follows you?
Apparently, yeah.
As of last night.
Surprised she's not stalking him.
Did you ask her out on a date, Megan Fox?
Yeah, I did, but I was busy that night. She said yes, but I couldn't.
The zookeeper work was good too. Hey, you could have worn the zookeeper outfit to Mad Monday. I saw you Mad Monday, and here's everyone dressed up. And there you're at the back of the high vis. Now, are you in costume, or is just footy going really bad for you at the moment?
I mean,
have you just turned up from work?
The only thing I didn't do this year was get a kick, so I came straight from work that day. Smoko break, had a couple of.
But I love the way you zig when everyone else zags. Everyone's going big time and Chewbacca and all that, and you've done it beautifully.
You mentioned the beekeeper outfit, and you took Gigi Haddad around the zoo, one of the world's great supermodels, and this is you. Did you get a sideways glance from Gigi? Say, what's going on here?
Oh, mate, you got to make the most of your airtime, I think. And when you know there's paparazzi going to be there, I think you got to.
Well, that made the Mail in Sydney. In London, in the UK. They went to papers all around the world.
Yeah, it did. And I thought it'd be a bit funny, and she loved it, which is the main thing.
Tommy, Gigi, she's beautiful, but Shania Shaikh, she's better.
Shanina, I think it is. She's a lovely.
I don't care what her name is.
That looks like another terrible night out for you.
Yeah, shocking time with that. No, she's a lovely lady. Good mate of mine now, yeah.
It's all well and good, the lovely models there that you've been associating with, but you're a male model as well.
I wouldn't say that, Lee.
Well, I don't know about that. Have a look. Oh, there we go.
Hello, girls.
Yeah, I just fell in my lap, that sort of stuff. I was actually...
Did that fall in your lap, Tom?
Is that, mate?
I say that's something we have in common. We have both been underpant models.
I've seen you in
You've seen my
photos.
I remember the camera adds 10 pounds.
That was just a bit of fun. I did when I was injured last year, so... Footy's priority, mate.
Tommy, we're going to get you to stick around. This is a segment that we've done right throughout the year. It's called Give Me Something, Tommy. It's where we tell the people out there something in the world of AFL they mightn't know. So I'm going to put that on you very shortly. But Sam, you got a question for Tom?
Well, we should. I think if Tom's here, and we saw in the intro that you are tight with Lance Franklin.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell us how he's going, and is there any doubt in your mind that he'll be playing from round one next year?
Yeah, we are tight, and he's a good mate of mine, and he's in the really good hands at the moment, and he's going really well. So that's about all I know at the moment. Like, I've stayed in touch with him, but he's coming along really well, and I'm pretty sure he'll be back firing bigger and better than ever next year. Yeah.
That's good news.
Let's hope he is, because he's an absolute champion of the game, and hopefully he's going okay. Might give me something, Daz. Just a little bit of update on a couple of my former teammates, and players they finish the season, they go travelling, they go to Vegas, do all that sort of flashy
Tommy's
stuff.
off to Vegas himself, I believe.
Tommy's doing a little bit of that. Well, Gary Ablett Jr., to his credit, is off to Papua New Guinea to do a little bit of missionary work, which I think is fantastic. Just giving a bit back. He's a great bloke, Gary Ablett, great player, of course, and doing something fantastic there. And just one I want you to keep an eye on. A bit of talk. We had Stevie J on the panel before about what he might be doing next year. Matty Stokes. Keep an eye on him, maybe ending up in the navy blue at Carlton. A little bit of a whisper coming around.
Big stories dropped here very casually, so put that one in your book.
Stokesy, continue on. That'll be a great pickup too. He's a great guy, Stokesy.
I might add one to that as well. We know that Don Pike, assistant coach at West Coast, big part of West Coast plans today. Mail is you can lock him in as the Adelaide Crows coach as early as next week. So Don Pike to coach the Adelaide Crows. Richo, can you top that?
Well, not top it, because this is a bit of late mail, really. We've heard this before, but we did mention it on Give Me Something on this show probably 5 or 6 weeks ago. John Worsfold will be the coach of Essendon, and Bluey McKenna, his ex-teammate at the Eagles, will be his right-hand man. And that will be announced next week.
In coming days, absolutely. Guys, the Brownlow medalist, is he not the most popular Brownlow medalist in the history of the world, Nat Fyfe? Normally we see the Brownlow medalist go around on grand final day in the cavalcade at the MCG. Not the case this time. Nat Fyfe, as we know, has had surgery. He had 3 fractures, actually, in his leg. 3. I've seen a picture of that. 8 screws and 1 plate now in there. Now, he's back in Perth now, and forget the MCG cavalcade. In coming days, so by about mid this week, I'm told, he will be flying in a helicopter to his old home of Lake Grace and touching base with the community, which I think will be a great thing. So they've prioritised his recovery first, but then he's going to get down.
He's got ahead of himself now. Flying in a helicopter.
I've got a dingbat does that.
You know what he should do?
He should be in the grand final, in the cavalcade, but in an ambulance. Just a bit cars, him waving out the back of it.
Holding up the cane.
Of an ambulance, holding up the cane.
So before we get to you, Mick, we've given Tommy a bit of think time.
Come on, Tommy.
All right, dish a bit of dirt out. Come on, this is give me something.
You said you wouldn't throw me under the bus, Das, but
go on.
Come on.
I mean, early on when I first got the Swans, I remember Dan Hanbury used to sit out the front of my house and log onto my Wi-Fi.
Really? To avoid paying for his own internet.
Yeah, I swear to God.
That's tight. That's tight.
I mean, and again, Buddy's probably had enough scrutiny over the last few months, but he used to eat my chewies out of my car and he'd swallow them and then grab another one. And I'm like, mate, you know you can't swallow chewies. He's like, yeah, my mum used to say that, but yeah.
We learned that at a young age. Every young man needs to know.
That's all the dirt I'm giving right now.
Hey,
mate.
I'll give you something quickly to wrap up this segment. There's a bloke called Popovich who's the coach for the San Antonio Spurs, and he's notoriously difficult.
Greg Popovich?
Greg Popovich, and they don't like interviewing him. The boundary riders hate him. He's just a classic example.
Last year at this time, it was the debut of the beard. Sticking with it.
Obviously. Are there some questions here you're going to ask me, or what are we going to do?
We're going to talk some hoops. No?
The beard. Come on, let's get to the basket.
Here we go.
Come on, it's easy.
3, 2. Coach, you've spoken a few times this summer about losing the camaraderie with several new faces coming in. What can you do in camp to try and speed up the process?
I don't remember saying that. I think you made that up.
You did a couple of interviews, one with Tom Tolbert. You obviously know LaMarcus Aldridge from having to scout him many times over the years. What have you learned about him that wasn't on the scouting report as you've gotten to know him since he's become a Spur?
Nothing. I didn't see him.
Oh, no. That's hard.
Where do you go from there?
It's hard to watch.
Can you feel his pain, Richo, or not?
Does it remind you of anyone, mate?
I want to give that guy a call and just be a shoulder to cry on. I know how he feels.
Do you know how he feels?
I do. Have a look at this.
Thanks for your time.
It still hurts watching that.
Hey, Tommy, thanks for joining us. You're an absolute star. You're our favourite.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks, guys.
Three hands together. Tom Derrick's live here at Federation Square. Let's get back to the September Club, and Jade Robran has a special guest with her.
I'm super excited to introduce to you rock and roll royalty and new X Factor judge. It's you, Chris Isaac. Welcome to your first AFL Grand Final.
Good to be here, Jade.
Thanks for joining us. Now, you've played at the Super Bowl before. This is kind of like our Super Bowl, but without the helmets.
Exactly. If you take away the helmets, you know something? I have to say, Australians they know how to party. You do. You know how to party. People have a good time, and it's a little different. Australia does it a little more festive.
And we're going to be partying along to you. Are you looking forward to taking to the stage?
I have to tell you, I'm scared to death. No, I am. I'm nervous because it's a lot of people, and we're not playing with a tape or anything, so I don't want to screw up. And then before I came, James Blunt, who was on X Factor with me, he said, Chris, come here. I want to show you. Look what Meatloaf did last time.
Let's not go there. You will not screw up, I promise you. Now, you are definitely doing very well on the X Factor. You're killing it.
It's not me. I've got 3 guys that are singing, and they're making me look good. So I'm having a ball.
Now, you've established a bit of a bromance with Mr. Blunt, haven't you?
We argue all the time. but then he always brings me candy and makes up. He's very sweet.
The perfect relationship, really. Now, your new album, First Comes the Night, it's got love, laughter, tears. Tell us a bit about it.
I think if you have a breakup and you're trying to get over something, you buy this record and put this record on, and not only you can get over the breakup, but you can clean up the house at the same time. It's got a little energy.
I like your tips. Have a great day.
Thanks. Who are you going for?
Go Hawkies!
All right, baby.
Thank you.
After the break, one of the biggest selling artists of all time, Bryan Adams, joins us live on the panel. Then it's a cavalcade of AFL stars as Nathan Buckley, Matthew Pavlich, Alex Rance and Neil Danaher drop in for a chat. And we'll join the players as they arrive at the MCG.
Back in 1991, last time these two teams met the grand final was Angry Henderson. And then, of course, the Loaf, he did what he did on the MCG.
Yeah, whatever that was.
2011, that one. 2010, Lionel Richie, he nailed this.
Lionel Richie was brilliant. On 1 week's notice, by the way, that was.
He had to fill in.
That was the replay, wasn't it?
Yeah, the replay.
The grand final.
Crowd loved him.
And he toured off the back of that.
Hey, what about our next guest, though? He's one of the greatest selling artists of all time. Bryan Adams has won everything in the music industry has to offer, from Grammys to MTV Music Awards, American Music Awards. Soon he'll be performing in front of 100,000 at the MCG. But right now, just standing left of stage, put your hands together.
I'm just going to do it from right here.
You prefer to stand, Bryan?
Well, you know, I mean, I'll stand.
We'd love you to take us home. Come on, Bryan. That'd be.
You don't have to be polite for me.
You can sit on my lap if the mood takes you. More than happy to.
No lap dances today.
If he's bothering you, you can join us at the Collins end of the panel.
Sorry, are there any nerves? You're about to play in front of 100,000 people. You seem relaxed. You've done it all, but are there any nerves at all?
Yeah, there will be. I mean, closer to the time, and it's undoubted. Yeah.
So we talk a lot about how players prepare for big moments. How does a singer perform like you? What are your quirks?
Just got to make sure you know what's going to happen. So we've had a sound check already, and it's just much like if you do a little sort of warm up before the show.
Yep. What's in your rider? Come on, I'd ask you about this. Have you got
nothing very exciting? I've got to say, it's
a good book and a cup of tea.
Cup of tea, yeah.
Sure.
Hey, Bryan, can you tell us what hits you're going to play today, or is it a secret?
Bryan, you're amongst friends here.
Okay, well, if you sing it, I'll confirm it.
Okay.
Well, what am I going to sing? Everything I do it for you.
No.
Everything I do. I do it for
69. Hey, excuse me. It was the summer of 69.
Back up, singer, Bryan.
I'm going to confirm that one.
How funny is this? We've got Bryan Adams on and we're singing his song. It's hilarious. Now, summer of 69, there's no more iconic song in the history of the world, and it was just one of the all-time greats. And it's
Where do you find him?
Everyone knows.
In a pub last night.
I'm not even supposed to be here. But that first line, I'm first real sixth string, it's just one of those great things. The minute you hear it, you know where you're going.
I'm glad I came up with it.
Robbo, does anyone ever get it wrong? Because Robbo, who's got his own footy show, opened up...
Have a listen to this, Bryan. This is from AFL 360. Not quite getting the words right. This is the chief football reporter of our biggest newspaper in the country. Have a listen.
What could go wrong?
His sentiments.
I had my first real sex dream. It's the opening line. It's the opening line of the song, mate.
Didn't even know that was the line, Robert.
I had my first real sex dream. That's not right.
That's confusing.
Had you ever heard that interpretation before?
Yeah, I heard it. It's a long-standing joke.
And in Robbo's case, it's wishful thinking. I'm pretty sure.
I reckon so.
And you got a brand new song out as well, Bryan. Can you tell us a bit about that?
A new song called Brand New Day out, and a new album, which just actually released yesterday. The album came out yesterday.
Do you feel the pressure when you're releasing new music? Because your back catalogue is just one of the greats.
I'm really excited about it, actually. This is definitely one of my most rocking records. So,
well, Bryan,
and you know what? Quite nice to be in Australia on the kickoff for this, and have an album come out.
Well, let's make it number one. That is it there in my hands. Brian Adams, Get Up. This is the biggest selling artist of all time.
No, it's not.
Well, we like to just add a little bit here. Brian, you were the biggest selling artist. On the back of this, you're going to be the biggest selling artist of all time. We'll sell 100,000
bigger than the Beatles,
today.
bigger than the Rolling Stones, bigger than Elvis.
You told us you had Mick Jagger covered before. You've got them all covered.
Mick who?
Okay, let's go to commercial quickly.
We never let the truth get in the way of a good story on
what bit of showbiz out there today? You're going to bite the head off a bat or something? What have you got for the 100,000?
I'm just going to do some songs, and then, that's it, really.
All right.
And then, Brian, you're back in March, so you're going to tour in March and play some arena shows?
Yep.
You know what I'd love to hear you do? A version of We're from Tigerland. Can you do that? I'll talk you through it in the break.
Okay.
Nick, I don't think he knows what you're talking about. Now, I don't know if you've seen an AFL game yet, Brian. But you,
what he's talking about.
He's had a big week out, mate.
you do have a very highly placed friend in sports world, Wayne Gretzky. Tell us how that came about.
Well, we're both Canadians.
But how did you...
Well, we both sort of came up at the same time when he was on his ascension to, do you know who Wayne Gretzky is?
Yeah.
The great one.
Well, he was the greatest hockey player ever. And so when he was coming up, I was coming up. And so we sort of knew each other, because we were both similar age. And just that.
It's a good name to drop, isn't it? Me and the great one. Good mates.
When he had his last game, I sang the anthem for him. And,
That's awesome.
And it was great because as he left the ice, I was the last one he high-fived. That's
fantastic. Well,
it was a good moment.
Only 100,000 people there today, Brian, but the Virgin Australia Premiership Party afterwards, a great initiative of the AFL. They open the doors, it's free, and you can get in. You can see Brian Adams, Ellie Goulding as well, and the winning team on stage. So that's available free for everyone.
Background singers. The winning team will do background.
Oh, yeah.
Have you got a tip for us?
Just have a laugh.
I'll write that one down.
Good on you, Brian. It's a great pleasure to meet you. Thanks for joining us. Brian Adams, as we said, one of the biggest selling artists of all time.
Come on.
Mate, no pressure.
Go to commercial quickly.
We're going to go to Tom Brown. He's with Brady Rawlings. Over to you, Tom.
The Eagles have just had one of their final team meetings, guys. I'm lucky enough to be joined by Brady Rawlings. Thanks so much for joining us so close to the game, Brady. Excitement must be building. It's hot, 31. Is that an advantage?
I don't think it really advantages either side. We're pretty confident our guys will adapt to the conditions. Being in Perth, we train in these sort of conditions all year, but I'm sure the Hawks will adapt as well.
I think earlier in the year there was a reference on your whiteboard to time to hunt. You might be the hunted today. The Hawks are going to come out. They could be ferocious. Will you stand up to that, do you reckon?
Yeah, well, they're a very experienced side. They're great in a contest, some individuals in particular. So, it's been a big area for us all year that we've really focused on, our contested ball. We've made some big improvements and, we need to be right on today and bring that sort of game.
And just finally, swirly conditions, they didn't suit Freo back in 2013. They can be tricky here in Melbourne. Is that a big disadvantage for you guys?
Oh, we played in these type of conditions a couple of weeks ago, a swirly breeze in Subiaco. Our players get this time of year through playing really well all season. So I don't think any wind conditions or sun or anything like that are going to affect us too much.
Brady, good luck.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Tommy. Thanks to Brady Rawlings as well. There's a live picture from the chopper hovering above our position here, Mick.
Here comes your ride, Luke.
I should be up there. I should be up there.
Brian Adams, he's still trying to work out Mark Robinson. He
was fantastic,
and
Brian.
Outstanding.
A very humble man for someone.
We are building up to the 2015 AFL Grand Final. You couldn't get a better day. Don't go anywhere.
Here we go.
Go Eagles! Go Eagles! Go Hurdy Shophead! Go Dusty! Nick Nurse! Go Eagles! Go Dusty! Let's bring the cup home! Yeah!
He's back by popular demand. After the break, Richmond heartthrob Alex Rance joins the panel live and will reflect on one of the year's most inspiring events with the great Neil Danaher. Then Nathan Buckley and Matthew Pavlich join us at Fed Square. That's all before the Hawks and Eagles swoop on the MCG.
Biggest day of the year, and the West Coast Eagles are on the bus making their way to the Coliseum that is the MCG. Just get the hair on the back of the neck stand up a little bit, as that team that has dominated this year couldn't be in better shape, the West Coast Eagles, and I'm sure there's some nervous tension running through that group, Richo, man.
Absolutely. Getting on the bus down there near St Kilda. Only got a short ride up St Kilda Road to the MCG. What a great feeling it must be, but there'd be plenty of tension in the bus, a bit of anxiety, but what would I know?
It would be the bit, though, where you can go into the zone, you know, no distractions in the bubble at the MCG.
Yep, they're in the shorts and the T-shirts. The conditions are better than you could possibly imagine.
Hope they've got their Mikey tickets, that's all.
Why did you ask me about getting on a bus very important?
Because I know you like to be included.
I'd like to know about the 4 times I got onto the bus. I'm happy to chat about it.
Lingy, I'm sick of hearing about your place.
I tell you what, we have got all our favourites lined up today, and none bigger than the back-to-back All-Australian. He's the best defender in the game. Alex Rance, great to catch up with you again.
Thanks, guys. What about the weather? I'm pumped to be out here.
Yeah, great. Well, you're dressed very casually for the occasion.
Yeah.
You've got some shorts on. You've got the Richmond top on, I see. I saw you in the bow tie. That was an interesting choice, wasn't it, the Brownlow?
Yeah, I had the spinning tie. Yes, I had that one that was on the rotation.
The runner should have come out and told you needed to straighten that.
Yeah.
It was a good choice. Is that yellow and black? I can't tell from here.
Yeah, no, it's not actually. It's a penguin suit. It's a very formal affair, the Brownlow.
Yeah,
hey,
well played.
I reckon the players have played a lot of fun at the Brownlow this year. All of the clubs, the Richmond table, the boys have a good night.
It was really fun. Yeah. And I think it showed into the night. Nat Fyfe, he obviously had a great night too, and won a lot of hearts. Just seems like a really down-to-earth, great fella.
Yeah. Western Australian boy.
Yeah, good country lad. I'm not really country. I've had 3.5 acres. Had a ride on lawnmower though, so that sort of counts as country.
Yeah, that is.
Ranty, I'm sorry to bring you back to that moment of the elimination final, but I do want to. I want to mention these two guys here. I reckon they let you down. The night before, you're about to play the elimination final against North Melbourne, huge game. This is these two idiots carrying on, celebrating before the game had even been won.
Mick was Snapchatting me before the game. I had all this expectation riding on me. There's Richo and Mick just Snapchatting me with his champagne bottles.
Can you pull him into line a bit? Can you get him just to tone it down?
We went early.
A bit more professional next year.
Well, you know what's worse than that? The rehearsal for that night's pre-game show.
I will sue you if you play this.
Mick just messed with the footy gods. Have a look, Rancy.
Look at this.
We cannot lose. I repeat, we cannot lose.
Oh, please tell me you're recording this.
I put it to you that there are no circumstances under which Richmond can lose against North.
Don't.
None.
No. Locked it in?
Yes.
Lock it in.
Do you know
can you get percentage in the final? Is it worth having percentage?
Have you heard about the footy gods? They rain down on
I mock the football gods.
Rancy,
I mock the footy
what do you want to
gods.
say to them?
Bad juju. It's your fault. It's your fault.
I heard you've got a friend, Matthew, actually, who thinks there's a curse on Richmond and he's going to lift it overseas.
Yeah, no, I've got a mate who's going to make a film, Rancy. Okay. So this is good news for you. He's going to make a film. He believes there's a curse over Punt Road in Richmond since 1982. So he's going to travel the world. He's going to go to India. He's going to go to the Amazon. He's going to get voodoo people in the Amazon. Shamans. He's going to get snake charmers in
voodoo
India.
Dolls.
He's going to go and he's going to exercise the curse. So the Tigers are going to have a big year next year.
Similar to the Great Bambino over in the States with the baseball.
I can simplify it for you. Just get rid of Mick. Just don't let him talk on TV the night before a game.
Jeez, they're tight. Look at these two.
I'm not old enough for a free trade yet.
I'm going to ask Rancy about Harley Bennell, Mick.
Yeah, we want to know. Now, this is a serious issue. He's been shown around the club in recent days. He's a player, Harley Bennell, that comes with a little bit of baggage. Would you support him coming? And is Richmond as a group mature enough to support him?
Yeah, obviously it's been pretty well publicised that Choco and Dustin have shown him around the club, and obviously a fantastic talent. Our leadership, we've got a really strong leadership group, and I think we've got good values as a club, and who's to say that just this move from Harley might jog him into a little bit of common sense himself.
Rancy, we could spend a lot longer with you, but we always appreciate your time and great to catch up with you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah. Before you go, do you mind if I play it once more? When you say we've got a mature leadership group, I think this is what we're talking about. I love it.
That's what you got to look forward to, Harley.
That is my favourite bit of footage of the year.
We nearly got through Rancy, but not quite. Good on you, mate. One of the absolute stars of the game is Alex Rance. One of the most emotive interviews we did this year, though, was this couple here, Brent and Jamie Riley. Brent nearly lost his life after fracturing his skull in a training accident. He's in Melbourne for the grand final, and he's with our own Jade Robin.
Brent and Jamie, great to see you here. How's the recovery going?
Yeah, recovery's going really well. Thanks, Jade. Can get in the car now and start driving, and got the all clear just to have a couple of quiet beers, so I'm joining back on the social scene.
Watch out! What a year, my goodness.
It hasn't been the best year, but we're moving forward and just looking forward to next year, and we've been on a few holidays and just, been relaxing, so it's exactly what we needed.
When we spoke to you early in the year, you were talking about a family, any little pitter-patters?
Yes, maybe soon. very, very soon, probably.
Is that an announcement?
No, it's not an announcement, okay? Oh, no. It's
okay, grandparents, not yet. So today, have you got a tip?
Yeah, I think West Coast for me. I like the interstate teams, obviously, but I'll go for West Coast.
Same. I don't mind, but we'll go West Coast because he's going West Coast.
Great. We'll have a fantastic day, and good luck with the role at the Adelaide Football Club next year. What is it, just quickly?
We're not sure yet, so we're still waiting to see who the coach is going to be, so I'll find out maybe next week or the week after.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jade. It's been an extraordinary year, and no one has been more courageous than Neil Danaher. This was the big freeze at the G, which was the highlight of the year for me. The footy world coming together and having a lot of fun.
You got the gloves on.
What an inspiration Neil's been. That was disturbing. $2.5 million raised as part of that campaign. It was extraordinary. That was disturbing at a whole nother level. Hey, let's go back and have a listen to the great Neil Danaher speaking with the Melbourne Football Club earlier this year.
It's too late for me. The disease I've got will kill me. It's a beast of a disease because there's no treatment and there's no cure. It don't kill you quick. It kills you slowly. It kills you out by slowly paralysing you. Live with hope. Have a strong vision where you're going. My vision, closed off, is a world without MND. I'll get there. I might be 6 foot under, but we'll get there. Thanks for listening.
He's an extraordinary man. His name is Neil Danaher, and it's great to have you as part of the build-up to grand final day. Neil, good to catch up here.
Yeah, great to be here, and a big thanks to you to get involved. Sam, the first woman to go down that ride. Mick, when we were looking for Channel 7 celebrities, was it true that one on your left was a bit reluctant to get cold and wet?
There was a couple.
Who was that? Matthew?
No, I would be on there next year, 100%. I wasn't asked now.
It was me.
How are you doing?
He's not happy about that.
How are you travelling? You call it the beast, and yet you're here with us.
Yeah.
You are absolutely fighting on.
M&D progresses and never stayed still. But I'm doing a lot better than the other 2,000 out there with it. So no one likes to win to Sam. So I'm here, beautiful day, Mick, grand final. Go the Eagles.
Yeah, it's good on
Where else would you want to be, Neil?
Big part of putting the West Coast Eagles group together, which we need to talk to you about. But let's get on to Danaher's drive, because you don't rest, mate. You're always in fine form. Tell us a bit about Danaher's drive. How can we get behind it on the 15th of October?
I'd be going on this if I could, but they won't release me from Triple M. This would be great.
We've got a drive in WA and we've got a drive in Victoria. We're taking the M&D message. We're about cure, care and awareness. We're taking it to the country. So the Victorian drive is going to Warrnambool, Bendigo, up to the River Albury, back to Melbourne. Spreading the word, having fun.
All the jewels in the regional crown. It'll be a great lap of honour around Victoria. I actually this is interesting, because I actually helped Neil out on the launch of this when we launched it. But this is the fear I hold when the phone rings. Because the first time the phone rings, they goes, Neil Danaher here. He asked me, he said, oh, mate, would you mind getting in your lolly bags and jumping into a pool of ice in the middle of winter on the MCG? I went, oh, yeah. So he rang again, and I'm going, oh, what could this be? Mate, I'm launching a new Danaher drive. I go, yes, what do I have to do? He goes, turn up at CUB breweries. this is where the launch was. I go, yes.
Your kind of
very easy sell.
I was there 2 hours early, just rehearsing.
Neil, Luke just mentioned you spent some time at West Coast assembling the list and working with the list that we're seeing play perhaps ahead of time on the MCG today. Who's your special favourite? Because I'm sure spending time there, you've made a soft spot with a couple of them.
6 years building the list. My favourite's always the coaches.
Yep.
I fall in love with the coaches there. They've done so much hard work. I know the players have to get it done, but I love working with John Worsfold. Adam Simpson's amazing, but he's got a great bunch of coaches that help get them there. They'll sit at the back. No one will know them. Hopefully Adam can hold up the cup, but the work we've done with the coaching panel, so look, we love them all. But I really wish them well today.
And we love you, Neil. You're a great man. Go to Drive. We're going to get behind. Thanks again for fronting up today. There is the West Coast Eagles bus. Neil, you know those players intimately. They're making their way down to the grand final. Just a quick mention, Sam, you got...
Absolutely. Well, we talked about the tour, but there's also an MND ball, November 28th, and Kate Sobrano, who's singing the national anthem today.
At the National Gallery.
She'll be there.
Yeah, black tie, Mick.
I'll be there.
Coming, mate.
November 28th, the
I'll put my hand up for that one too, Neil.
The M&D ball, great stuff for Neil. Up next, Nathan Buckley, the coach of the Pies, as we build up to grand final.
Go Zero! Come on,
I love these pictures from the MCG this morning. Some of the greatest young players from up north playing in the NAB All-Stars Grand Final. Curtain raise has been a tradition in recent years for the boys from the Territory. Now, that is the West Coast bus. That's right behind us, Richo, here at Fair Square. So they are not far away from the MCG. That is Flinders Street Station, and we are literally just 100 metres in front of where the bus just travelled past a short time ago.
Run a red light. I mean, I know they've got to get to the ground on time, but that's terrible.
Should have a police
They should have a police escort, shouldn't they?
Good minds think alike, Matt, with you.
Run a red light.
So only the biggest names in the game dropped by our set. We've had Alex Rance, we've had Brian Adams, and now a man who played 280 games. He's a 7-time All-Australian, a 6-time Best and Fairest winner, the coach of the Collingwood Football Club, Nathan Buckley. Hello, Bucks.
Good, gents. How are you?
We've got a Norm Smith medalist as well, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Yeah, that's right, mate. Got a fluffy pillows.
Bucks, yeah, why not?
Do you still feel a bit edgy, grand final? How do you get...
There we go.
I look happy there, don't I? It would have been nice to have won one as a player, and obviously Darcy, Richo and I were talking about Lingy. He gets a bit...
Gets under our skin.
Well, this day feels a lot different for him and for guys that have experienced the ultimate success
and
than for us.
you genuinely feel that. You wake up this morning and you feel
absolutely.
that today.
It obviously lingers as senior coach of a footy club as well, because this is why you play. This is why you make all the sacrifices, the investment, why you balance the rest of your life around the opportunity to prepare to be here on this day. It's a cracking day, and these two clubs have earned it. But yeah, still a little bit jealous about it.
I can feel it in you.
And was that a strange feeling, having to get up there? The individual glory of a Norm Smith medal is something pretty special, but when your team hasn't won, it's a hollow feeling? Or?
Yeah, I think the thing was, Scott Burns summed it up really well for me afterwards. He goes, I would have been happy. I was really happy that you got a medal and the Norm Smith around your neck, because generally that would have meant that we won the game, because the Norm Smith medalist generally comes from the winning side. But when you're the captain and you're getting a medal around your neck, and I knew I was going to walk back to 21 teammates that didn't have a medal around theirs, and I actually walked off the stage, took it off, just held on to it, and I just didn't want it. It didn't feel right.
On that, do you think the whole squad of a winning flag team should get medals?
I haven't thought a lot about it, but there's no doubt that the way the states view their squads and the whole playing list that in the NFL get a ring, I think they do that in the basketball as well. I mean, they go even further, though, and every staff member that has contributed to the success of the program gets recognised. And I think that our sport has definitely got there. And it's not just the players or the coaches, it's the support staff. It's even the administration that have all had a part to play in that. So I think the good clubs do that anyway.
And don't forget the president. I think that's... absolutely. When I say president, I say president stroke kicking coach. Because you've got an asset down there.
Yes.
Here he's warming up for his kick on the G. And he's trained to the minute for this one, as you can see. And whooshka, there it is. Now, do you get Travis Cloak in front of a monitor and show him that?
we split screen Eddie's technique with any of the other boys and try and teach them this is the perfect. Well, having said that,
he binned it.
Having said that, let's be clear and let's be honest. That is a beautiful technique, and we don't even need to make that up.
Hey, Bucks, it was funny. Sorry, guys. Is this a good technique though? Just while we're at it, because I'm not sure. He's done a hammy and a pair of Dolce Gabbana.
I dare say that if the camera's on you long enough, and this is the thing about footballers, I mean, you're going to stuff up every now and then. Yeah. Do we need to keep
Mate, you
coming back?
insisted on us playing that music. You said roll that in.
Mate, I'm a comedian. That's my job. What do you want me to do? Go and show 8 minutes of him cooking it really well. Yeah, that'd be great. Be really good TV. I'll get onto that, Bucks.
Were you sort of hoping, Bucks, that kick on the MCG, though, deep down, that Eddie was just going to completely shank it?
Well, not at all. What is this? What is this? You'd love to see anyone associated with Collingwood Football Club have success.
Hey, Bucks, that night, though, where he had that kick on the G, you guys were warming up as Eddie was warming up. He was nearly involved in your warm-up. I was watching
I think he jumped in a lane work. No, he was off the side. It was, I think that was the Geelong night, I think it was. So he played pretty well. I think he inspired us.
Yeah. Now, Bucks, good to see you with your top on the day. You're used to just almost routinely. This was you regularly. Have a look at the size of the man.
Are you right?
If that's not an ASADA investigation waiting to happen there, have a look at you. Have you trained off a bit, mate, or are you still pumped up?
Hey.
I've trained right off.
Look at him, Luke. Come on. He's in great shape.
I honestly tell you, every one of my suit pants has been tested and is being tested at the moment. All my shirts are at breaking point.
Tested,
I really need to look after myself this summer,
I don't think
I need to get a new wardrobe.
I think you're doing
that's
well,
where I'm
Nathan.
at.
Hey, Bucks, these guys give it to me all year about the Men for All Seasons calendar, but I've got a sneaking suspicion you might have done one as well.
Oh, you serious? That's better. Yeah, when Mum calls, you just got to answer the call.
At least you're on the phone. You're not pretending to do the washing like Richard.
Well, if I was on that phone and it was real, it was 1960.
Hey, we need a serious question because you've got players leaving. Nathan Freeman, interestingly, Bucks having not played, he was a first-round draft pick. He's chosen he wants to go to the St Kilda Football Club. And on the way out, he has alluded to the fact that he didn't think the medical staff were up to it. How does that sit with you?
You know what? He hasn't said that.
He hasn't?
No, the media have speculated on that, and now they're reporting it as fact.
Okay.
So you've just fallen into that.
Well, so it hasn't happened, 100%?
No.
Is it an acrimonious end?
Not at all. No. Nathan's explanation to me was that, and we had numerous discussions leading up to the decision with his management and with Nathan, and he felt like he needed a fresh start. So that was, in his mind, he'd convinced himself he needed a fresh start. And we're not in the habit of trying to talk blokes out of that. And we'd done all our conversations. So the young fella feels like he wants to go to somewhere where it's a new environment, it's a fresh environment, it's a different stimulus for him. And clearly he believes that his chances are better of playing senior football there.
Is that a reflection on your environment, though, if you've got a young player that wants to leave, who hasn't played a game as a first-round draft pick?
Well, one of the things that you love to think that you can be all things to all people, but you won't. And Nathan's a good young kid. He's a great young kid. And I mentioned problems, but the facts are his challenges will follow him. There's no guarantee, even though he's a top 10 draft pick, there's no guarantee that he's going to make it as an AFL footballer. He's got to get his body right first and foremost, and that will give him the chance to work out if he's a good enough footballer to be able to do what has to be done. And I love him to have that opportunity. I'd love it to still be at Collingwood, but if it's not to be, the young kid deserves an opportunity to have a crack at it.
Adam Treloar's nominated Collingwood. Will that deal get done?
Well, he said that he wants to come to us. I suppose with Nathan Freeman said he wants to go to St Kilda. Dane Beams last year said he wanted to go to Brisbane. Invariably that happens. And I think the clubs are smart enough now to work out that it's got to be a win-win-win. And we're dealing with GWS, and until trade period comes about, we can't get it done. But that deal will go through.
Thanks, Bucks. We appreciate your time on grand final day. Good luck for 2016. The coach of the Collingwood Football Club, Nathan Buckley. Let's get back at the September Club with Jade Robram.
I am here with X Factor host Luke Jacobs. Welcome to the grand final.
Oh, I love the football. I love the footy. It's so exciting to be here.
Let's talk X Factor first.
Yes.
This year, new look, new judges. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it is an all-new X Factor. Especially having Chris and James on the panel, it's new. It's great because we didn't expect James to be this funny. We didn't expect him to have the comments like that, which I love. And
he's great.
He's great, but having Chris there as well sort of brings everyone back down to earth, and he actually says it how it is, which we like because there's no mucking around. He says the truth, which is great. It's fun.
I have to ask, have you got a tip this early?
Have I got a tip?
A winner this early?
Do you know what? I would love to tip somebody, but I think it's unfair for me to pick one person over the other 11. So it's hard. I think that at the end of the day, the X Factor's the winner.
Oh, so
I can't pick
diplomatic.
one. Yeah, I'm being nice.
Okay, now you are a massive Sydney Swans fan.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry they're not here today.
So am I, actually. I mean, there were tears shed, but I left them in Sydney, and so now I'm down here today to just to have a good fun and to enjoy the footy.
So who is it? Who are you tipping?
Well, do you know what? I don't actually have anyone that I want to follow because Swans have lost to both teams in the last decade. So what I've decided is I'm actually going to flip a coin and
Let's
whoever
do
it lands on. Okay, so heads for Hawks, tails for Eagles. I'll go for the Eagles.
Go Eagles!
Oh, it's all happening there inside the September Club, and we have been tracking the West
Where's
Coast.
that bus? Where is it?
They ran a red light, Mick.
They ran a red light. Now it's been caught by a speed camera. I think it's lost. The guy's got the Melways out. He's trying to find the MCG.
As long as it does not break down.
They're nearly there now. They
Just
can walk
about
the rest
there.
of the
How
way.
slow do they want to go?
They're taking their time, but they will be ready to go very shortly.
They're getting a little nervous right now, aren't they? Tell me they're getting nervous.
The man who would love to be inside that bus, Matthew Pavlich, didn't quite get there again. The champion from the Fremantle Dockers, he joins us next. We're not far away from the 2015 AFL Grand Final.
Such a devastating time, and the rest of the world just keeps ticking on, and part of you wants to sort of yell out and say, well, how is everyone fine with this? A lot of people don't get to say goodbye. I guess I got to do that.
A memory that will always stay with me, James and Maddie meeting for the first and only time. It's really hard to talk about.
We got in there and sat him on the bed, and he just broke into the biggest smile. It was amazing.
He's good, but he's away most of the days, which is a bit annoying.
He doesn't get treated any differently at home. I know that. As soon as he walks in the door, it's hands on deck and, kids in the bath.
I refer to him what Mum calls him, Danny Boy. No, he's very caring, he's very family orientated. It's probably his biggest trait. He's got a massive heart.
I don't advise him on football. I don't advise him what to wear. I love the moan. If he likes to moan, I like the moan.
The whole different or weird stigma, I don't know. I just like to be my own person, and I don't know, it's like studying or taking an interest in the world is a bit different.
Really was enthralled by the idea of becoming a pilot in the Air Force.
I probably wish I worked as hard earlier on in my career as I did now.
I won a couple of national championships. A few of the teammates used to give me a bit of slack for it just because, no one really played footy and gymnastics at the time.
It was really intriguing to me to see something so important to so many people that I had no clue what it was. Making history was very important to me. I think it's a great selling point to anyone. You can do something special.
I lived my dream, and that was to play the game at the highest level. And if I finished up tomorrow and I walked away, but every one of my players still willing and wanting to have a coffee with me or a beer with me, that's a good test that they've respected and appreciated what you've tried to do for them. For me, it's the most crucial thing.
We've had some brilliant stories in 2015. Well done to the Discovered team, including the West Coast Eagles, are a great unfolding story. And if Adam Simpson can win a premiership in his second year, he goes into the history books as an out-and-out star of the game, Richard.
It's just a huge story. Coming from not playing finals last year to be playing Hawthorn in a grand final today, it's a remarkable season by the West Coast Eagles.
Speaking of stars of the game, 335 games, 669 goals, 6 All-Australians, 6 best and fairest. The man who joins us now has got a CV that would be the envy of anyone. There he is on screen, and he's been good enough to join us. The great Matthew Pavlich. Welcome to you, Pav.
Thanks, Darcy. Pleasure to be here. Pav, thanks for having us.
That's not a bad resume, that one, Pav. It's pretty solid when you read it out like that.
Yeah, it's nice because it doesn't show all the lowlights, does it? It just shows all the good things, or it typifies them anyway. But there's one thing missing there, obviously, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But no, it's a nice things to be read out. Thanks, Darcy.
So, Pav, what's happening, mate? You haven't made a decision yet on going forward. Do you have a clear sort of vision of what you want to do now?
I've got a bit of a gut feel, but I haven't had much time since the game. Thanks, Mick. We haven't had much time since the game, really. It's still quite raw and emotional. You don't necessarily always anticipate you're going to win those big games, but you don't plan for the alternative. You get to a prelim, we finished on top of the ladder, and the sudden nature of not winning and not getting through, and then flying over for the Brownlow, and then the jubilation of Nathan winning was a great result for everyone. I think it was a popular winner. But then I haven't really had time to take a deep breath and take it all in.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure, I may not go with it, but yeah, sure.
You probably won't. It's gone down in folklore that Richmond could have got you back in the draft. You might have one more year. Why don't you come to Richmond?
Mickey.
Shut up!
I'm happy.
Hear him out.
Can you rule it out?
Why don't you come to Richmond for one last year?
I can categorically rule that out.
Matthew, is the decision for you physical or mental?
Well, I haven't even really had the conversation with Chris Bond, Steve Rossich, or most importantly, Ross Lyon. So I think we all need to understand what's the most important thing for the football club going forward. And then from there, it's about, how am I feeling both physically and mentally? Because I played 23 games, 22 games this year. The body's in reasonable shape, but as Lingy and a few of these old guys know on the table, there's only so many times you can keep going to the well, both physically and mentally. So there's a few things to weigh up.
Tell me about it. Hey, we mentioned your coach, and I love your coach, Ross Lyon. I think he's just one of the greats of the game, and he always gives you something in the way of a highlight, whether he's up or whether he's down. We've cobbled together a couple of moments from the year for Ross Lyon.
That's significant in the result. It's probably the result. What we win by, I couldn't tell you. Is that the result? Probably, This is an unusual media room.
Does that mean anything?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's a toilet. Oh, okay. Does that make sense? 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 Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Does it make sense?
Does he make sense to you? Yeah, it does make sense. Like, that's him in a meeting. I mean, it doesn't necessarily capture exactly his great traits, but that's him. He asks us a lot about does it make sense, and the way he is with the journalists, he often is with his players. So.
I reckon watching Rossi when he really wants to make a point, the eyes start darting around.
You want to get, exactly right. When you see the eyes start darting, you want to get out of his vision.
We saw a couple of classic sprays, and you don't see them often from Ross. They must hurt. They must have some heat on them when they come down the pike.
Yeah, look, I think all great leaders and coaches at some level have that quite harsh feedback nature about them, and I think Ross picks his mark though. He doesn't do it to everyone, but he understands that he's going to get a response from a particular player. He's happy to do that.
Matthew, did you know how bad Nathan Fyfe's injury was? Did you know about the break when you played your last final?
Yeah, Nathan was quite sore for a number of weeks leading up to the prelim, and he had some stress reactions and shin splints type of issue down there, but it wasn't until about halfway through that first quarter when I think we all saw the incident. He had that knock and he obviously injured it further. I saw him at half-time in with the docs. I was sort of close by with him actually, and I knew he was in a fair bit of pain, but I mean, obviously the doctors look after him, but they had no idea of the significance of the injury at the time.
Do you see him as the next Freo skipper?
Oh, that'll be voted by our group. We go through a process where the group anoints and votes a leadership group, and from there the captain's selected from there. He's obviously really blossomed and matured. I think everyone heard him speak on Monday night so well, and it seems probably obvious externally, but a lot of things need to be weighed up and it'll be debated quite heavily internally.
Well, Pav, selfishly, I hope you can add to that CV next year and get out the fairy tale, be out there on grand final day next year.
Just think about it, Richmond.
You never know.
It's done, Nick.
The great Matthew Pavlich joining us. Well done, Pav. The younger generation well aware of Ellie Goulding. She's got #1 hits in every country, including Australia. She's with Jade Rodram in the green room. Let's catch up with her now.
How lucky am I? I think I've got the best seat in the house. I'm backstage, VIP treatment with Ellie Goulding. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, you're about to take to the stage in just a few moments. Do you know much about AFL footy?
I don't know an awful lot, other than some people have told me that it's similar to rugby, which we have in the UK, yes. but not the same. And there's no throwing, and it's tight shorts, which makes me happy, and really muscly men. And today it's the Hawks and the Eagles. No? Yes?
Yeah! Woohoo! We will love you out there. Now, are you excited to take to the stage? About 100,000 people, all eyes on you. Is that up there with one of your biggest crowds?
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, depending on where the stage is going to be, I won't be able to see everyone. So maybe I'll pretend that not everyone's there to make me less nervous.
That's a really good tip. Now, I have to ask you about Love Me Like You Do. When you were watching 50 Shades of Grey and that song came on, did you just watch it and go, oh my God, I've totally nailed this song. This is awesome.
Well, I mean, I loved recording the song. I got to work with Max Martin for the first time, and I haven't seen the whole film, which is crazy. I haven't had a chance to, but I got to, because it was so top secret, I got to see the scenes that my song was in. But when I heard when the song came back to me from the Max camp, I was so happy with it, because I just sounded like nothing I'd ever done before, and it was big, and it was big ballads, and I thought it was going to end up having a life of its own, and it did. So I think it's one of my favourite songs that I've recorded so far.
It was amazing, and I'm sure there's plenty more amazing tunes on Delirium, which comes out in November. Are you really excited about your third album?
I am. To be honest, this is my most exciting album. Yeah, I was just looking at it then, like really excited about it. I'm really excited for my fans to hear the new songs, and they've been waiting a long time, and also making some new fans, hopefully. But I'm pretty excited about this one.
And I'm sure we'll also hear some of these new songs in the Virgin Australia Premiership after party as well.
Yes, exactly. Well, actually. One of them, but then actually it's a few, maybe a few of my Calvin. I'll say a few of my Calvin collaborations. I've only got 2, but yeah, some older songs, a couple of new ones.
Well, we cannot wait. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. You too.
Yeah, it'll be Ellie Goulding, it'll be Brian Adams. Looking forward to that, building up to Grand Final Day. We are not far away now. Perfect day.
Here we go, people.
It's going to be an emotional day either way, whether it is the West Coast Eagles or it's the Hawks. I tell you what, that's coming back enough. That is an incredible goal. Jakey Stringer to turn his man around. Gee, it bounced up and he's done the incredible.
Well done, Robbie Gray. This is the first game of Archie. Clever play. He got it out to Young. Young will kick a goal and give the Power the lead back.
McVeigh goes into the open. An opportunity for Parker. Sydney are back in front by 5 points. And Sydney, after an electric start, have won.
It was a swallow that he's got, and his teammates have reacted rather angrily. And here's Goldstein. Oh! Lewis has now gone the 4. This is going to erupt again here.
And it's going to be a drawn game here. A drawn game. What an incredible season it has been for the Adelaide Crows.
West Coast Hawthorn Grand Final.
Big winners, West Coast.
We've been blessed again with some magic moments in 2015 on Saturday Night Football. There was just a collection of some of our favourites, Mick.
I got a few highlights and from this show, and you can usually tell the bits I like because I keep replaying them over and over. And as you see, we've already seen the Alex Rance footage which I've played tonight, and of course Lingy and his wonderful wife having their first kiss, I believe. It was great. But if I have to pick one particular bit of footage that has made it for me this year, it would have been uncovering this. Which,
yes,
it's really stood the test of time, that look.
Oh, that is stunning, Richo.
And, of course, that's Johnny Platten behind him there. And look at you now.
What happened to it? The hair has never looked better than then.
It gave you a great amount of joy, that did. Can I top that? Because I love the fashion parade, but I have to say, out of all the things we've done over the journey, this has to be the best moment ever. How tall are you again, Richard?
6'5".
Have a listen to this. This
196.
You are tall. How tall are you?
6'5". Yeah. 196.
Now, okay, I'm going to pose it to you. If someone asks you how tall you are...
You didn't need to add 196.
Well, you know in America they get the metric things right.
No.
She asked me.
196 with the chest out. Hey, we need to catch up with the Hawks now. They have arrived. They're at the MCG. And Brett Ratton has had an extraordinary year, and let's catch up with him now. He's outside the rooms with Tim Watson.
Well, Rats, I've just been watching some of the players sort of file past. They've been out on the ground. It's warm out there, but they look pretty relaxed.
Yeah, I think, 4 in a row grand finals. I think the group's pretty relaxed and really looking forward to the opportunity in front of them. And I suppose these days, you work so hard during the year and then you get yourself here, so this opportunity is enormous. Thanks, Mitch.
Just talking about how relaxed that was Sam Mitchell. Do you think that's an advantage for most of your players having been here before on this day?
I think it might be an advantage for the first 5 to, say, 10 minutes of the game when it's really hot and who can get composure and just settle down a bit. I think we'll get that advantage. But probably after that, the game will settle down, everyone will take a deep breath and away they go.
Any late changes that you can tell me about?
No, the coach just arrived. I passed him there and it was all thumbs up, so no change.
And you've been out on the ground. It is hot. What sort of precautions have you been taking with the players during the week to prepare them for that?
I think it's, I suppose there's been final series that have been hot over history. So, every season that I've been at the Hawks, it's been about our preparation for finals. It might be hot, do things. So it's actually been for a month before. Andrew Russell's prepared the players. Hydration's really critical, but just getting those little things right will be important today.
Going into this game a little bit taller than previous games. What's behind that?
I think the last 2 weeks we probably played the extra runner, but before that we were actually, virtually with the 4 talls up in the front half. So that's probably been our model that we've had most of the year. The last 2 weeks hadn't, but we thought, Jack's ability, he's kicked 50-odd goals this year. He's a great player. We went with him to help us kick a winning score.
Good luck today.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, mate.
Brett Ratton talking there about the heat. They have been in steam rooms in the lead up to this game, Hawthorn, to help acclimatise.
That's how I've been preparing too.
You are such a pro.
You're not far away from jacket off too, because the sweat's starting to pour out. It's 1-3 Cavs grand final sprint time. I love this part of the grand final. Let's head inside the MCG. Basil Zemplis is standing by with the heats. Baz.
2015 13 Cavs AFL Grand Final Sprint. We're ready to introduce the field in the first of 2 heats. First 5 over the line are into the final. In lane 1 from North Melbourne, Mad Jack Daw. The Western Bulldogs, Caleb Daniel in lane 2. Lane 3, late scratching is Angus Litherland of Hawthorn, replacing him Daniel Howe. In lane 4, the speedster from Adelaide, Charlie Cameron. Lane 5, it's Collingwood's Darcy Moore. Alongside him in lane 6 from GWS, Rory Lobb. Lane 7, the West Coast Eagles, Paddy Brophy. Lane 8, Henry Shade of the Gold Coast Suns. Lane 9 is Darcy Lang of Geelong. And one of 2 1-300 cab drivers who've won their way through the heats. Please welcome Parminder Singh in lane 10. Let's get down to our starter. So away quickly, Daw got an excellent start. Charlie Cameron from Adelaide running really well, and good running from Brophy of the West Coast Eagles. Singh doing nicely as well. Brophy getting past Cameron, but Mad Jack's got all the speed. Easing down on the line, and Mad Jack Daw will go through Heat 1 first into the final. It was a terrific run from Mad Jack. Powerful athlete, breaks the tape first. Brophy got second, I reckon, the West Coast Eagle. It was a good run from Charlie Cameron of Adelaide. And the Gold Coast Sun, nice run from him, Rory Lobb. Heat 2 then of the 1-300 Cavs AFL Grand Final Sprint. Let's introduce the field. First 5 are through into the final. From lane 1, Brad Ebert of Port Adelaide. Lane 2 is Anthony Miles of Richmond. Dean Towers of Sydney, lane 3. Andreas Everett from Carlton alongside him in lane 4. Jay Kennedy Harris of Melbourne, lane 5. Fremantle's Hayden Crozier in lane 6. Elliot Kavanagh of Essendon in lane 7. The veteran of the field, St Kilda's Lee Montagna in lane 8. Lewis Taylor of Brisbane in lane 9. And congratulations to 1-3 Cavs driver Gudev Singh, who is in this second heat of 2 in lane 10. Here's our starter. So away in the second heat, really good start by Miles. Ebert missed it badly. Coming through with speed is Towers. Crozier going well, and Singh finishing fast. Good run from Singh. Doing nicely is Taylor. The first four, no worries. Towers, Crozier, Singh and Taylor across the line very smartly. And Everett of Carlton in lane 4 will be the fifth and final into the final to be run at half-time.
Thank you, Baz. What an athlete Matt Jack Door looks like.
I tell you, shades of Matt Shervington there in that first heat. That's what I thought.
What about Joey? Poor old Joey Montagna slipped over at the start.
I think he might have had a good day yesterday. Can I just say something? It's a great innovation to have the cab driver there, and you always know which lane the cab driver is from 1-3 cabs, because he's the guy who takes the longest possible route to get there. In fact, they had two of them out there, and I'm surprised they knew how to find the G. Most cab drivers I get into these days, you've got to go twice.
They both run well, though, Mick.
Just quickly, bear that in mind, everyone. Watch those faces. They are not the guys to do a runner from. Next time you're in a cab.
Thanks to our great sponsor, 1-3 Cabs.
They're a good bunch.
Grand final day. Hey, we're not far away from going inside the G as we build up to the first bounce. So very quickly, everyone, Tip and Norm Smith.
I'm going with the Hawks. I think 35 points. Jared Ruffhead to win the Norm Smith. I think he's due for a big one. Be a cracking game. Can't wait.
Hawks for me, about 5 goals, and Nick Naitanui will dominate in the middle and win the Norm Smith.
Hawks for me by 24.
I hope Nick Naitanui does win it, because then it'll be a cracking game.
Hawks, Luke Hodge.
Hey, big thanks to Chris Jones, to Mitch Finlayson, Adele, Jason, our director, Serge on the floor.
Yeah, good on
Best
you guys.
team in the business.
Thank you.
First bounce coming up next, 2015 AFL Grand Final.
Cometh the hour, cometh the man. But who will be the man on the day when it matters most? The ultimate prize. For the big occasion players, they grow another leg. Great looking kick! Got it! Luke Hodge leads from the front and does the desperate things that decide premierships. Hodge will kick a second. He does. Cyril Rioli is the genius who makes something out of nothing. A clutch goal, a tackle that turns a half chance into a miracle. He can do it! He can do anything, the little champ! But the Eagles have their own match winners. Josh Kennedy is a tower of strength. Yet when the ball has to be won, this big man can run like a gazelle. Kennedy, the golden medal winner. Matt Priddis is the workhorse. This warrior will never be denied. Needs to defend a little, got it! And how mercurial is Nick Matt. Today is the biggest of the football year. The opportunity for players to become champions and for champions to become legends. He's kicked the goal. He bursts through. Here's your game. Wonderful goal. There it is. He's golden. There you go. Got it.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the home of football. 198 home and away games in the rearview mirror, 8 finals behind us. 16 teams will watch on this afternoon as the Hawks and Eagles battle out at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. It is going to be full, as it always is, for the last 2 hours of the season. Nick Nat, what a role he will play. A tough year for Nick Nat. It can finish in grand style if he can become a premiership player. And Cyril, he's one of 7 trying to win his 4th flag. It's going to be some sort of a match, and as we build up, we're an hour and 45 away. I sit with premiership captains and a premiership coach. Welcome to Wayne Carey and Lee Matthews.
Thank you, Hamish.
You couldn't ask, Doug, for anything more than this. We sit here in the 3rd level at the city end of the MCG, and the weather is perfect. We'll get to Jane Bunn in a moment, but you dream of these days and conditions like this.
Oh, absolutely. You look at those shots of the players, they all look calm underneath, but the mind is going a million miles an hour. It's the great unknown. You really don't know what's going to happen. All that nervous energy is all based around whether you'll perform, the pressure you put on yourself. Obviously, there's a lot of outside pressure, but it's more the pressure you put on yourself. You know, Lee, as captain, if you play well, it'll go a fair way to winning the game for your particular side. So just so much pressure on every individual as a player.
Well, as the participants, I mean, it builds up during the week. You get to match day. Now it's the game of footy, but it's like going into the land of the unknown. Yep. I mean, there was so much hangs on the end of what happens in the next few hours, and I thought one of the things as a player, I reckon if you woke up this morning, you knew it's going to be warm or hot. It's going to be hot and a bit blustery. It's going to be tough conditions for the players, so it's really going to test everybody.
It's early in the broadcast, Duck, but the Toyota keys to the game, where do you see it being won and lost?
Oh, look, the keys to the game is the start. It's all about the Hawks' pressure. They did it to Sydney last year in that first 10 to 15 minutes. So if they bring this type of pressure and the Eagles aren't able to withstand it or absorb it, then that'll go a long way to dictating who wins and loses this particular game. They were absolutely fantastic. They went there with an aim against, and remembering they were the underdog, so they went there with an aim to put them under extreme pressure, and that's exactly what they did and got off to a fantastic start.
And I think in their finals campaign, I mean, they only had 19 scoring shots in their preliminary final against Fremantle, but their tackling pressure was outstanding, particularly early in the game when Fremantle were going okay. So for all the Hawthorn attacking ability, I think their defensive intent and their tackling pressure has been really the strength of their game this last month.
Duck, you've got some great sources around the place. You're calling Heinzie. You've now got a car wash guy that gives you the weather. He said to you on Thursday it's going to go through 30. Is that right?
He did. He's been very accurate. He said 31, actually.
Okay, well, there's no one more accurate than Jane Bunn from 7 News. Welcome to you, Jane. What are we expecting this afternoon?
Oh, thanks, boys. Maybe that car wash guy is on the money. Essentially, our temperature, it's already been building steadily during the morning. We have now hit 29 degrees. Let's take a look at how it is going to unroll during the afternoon. By bounce, we should be up on 30. I'm now expecting it is most likely we will go right up to 31 by the time we get to around 3 o'clock. So this may be a record-breaking grand final. 30.7 was the highest it has been before this. Now, we do have a little bit of a cooling down late in the game, but not much at all. The boys will be very hot, very sweaty. It's still in the high 20s. So 31, that's where I'm thinking it's going to go. We've got northwesterly winds. They are going to be building during the afternoon. So they come in from the city end, then they will just swirl around the ground as we go. So I do think that will impact play. It will be quite breezy out here.
Thanks very much, Jane. Lethal, if it gets to 31, that's the hottest grand final ever played.
Well, it's grueling. I remember 1987 way back being a spectator when it was about 30 degrees when Carlton beat Hawthorn. But it's going to be a grueling day. That first half particularly, the ground starts to get a bit shaded in the second half, but that first half is going to be really grueling.
Does the heat favour either?
Absolutely. It favours the Eagles. There's no question in my mind. What you're talking about on grand final day 1% as well, this is a 1%er for the Eagles as far as I'm concerned. It's been 30 plus in the West for a few weeks now. They would have been training in it, and obviously Hawthorn haven't, so I think it hugely favours the Eagles.
Well, the Eagles, it's grand final number 6. They're trying to win premiership number 4. 19 grand finals today for the Hawks. They're trying to make it 13 and 3 in a row. Let's get some memories from the Hawthorn premiership players.
Somebody this afternoon has an appointment with destiny.
You start out playing football, you just want to make the AFL, and then you want to play a game, and if you're lucky enough to play finals, then you get a taste for it and you want to play in a grand final.
They've done it! The best team all year, back on top of the mountain.
Yeah, when that siren went at the end of 2013 was a pretty special moment and one I remember forever. The first 5-10 minutes after the siren is, the best time of your life.
When you see the emotion on people's faces, the support staff, the players, because it takes a lot of people, a lot of hard work behind the scenes to get to a grand final.
The best team of the modern era produces its masterpiece.
2-14 was probably a lot more excitement. The game probably wasn't as close as the 13, so you got to enjoy it a little bit more. Embracing teammates, that's what you play footy for.
You want to play and win, but you also want to celebrate with those closest to you as well.
Running around the boundary line with the kids, that's probably one thing I'll always remember, and hopefully the kids remember as well.